Evolution is kind of stupid. Regardless of anything that I'm about to say, it is important to note that the whole theory of evolution is everything that is made up by someone. Obviously, it's made up with some sort of relevancy to what happened or what is theorized to have happened. But it is important to note that many of those things are probably incorrect and very, very stupid. It doesn't actually make a lot of sense if you think about it clearly. One of the biggest things that the whole theory is kind of stupid is the fact that the theory says that we evolved from fish, that the earth was mostly covered in water and all of the species on earth was purely fish. So I just want to clarify that also in the evolutionary theory it states that no animal can evolve in his own lifetime. So it is difficult to understand how they thought that all of the fish turned into land animals or amphibians. Because if you technically think about how the evolutionary theory works and how they describe how things evolve, then it is technically impossible for them to have reached land, for any of the fish inside of the water to reach the land. Because for that to be happen, in the same statement as how the evolutionary theory describes how a species evolves, it means that the fish had to train himself every single day to go outside of the water and then get back inside. Because he still has gills, he doesn't have lungs, he's only able to breathe inside of water and not able to breathe air. It means that he had to already have that capability of going outside of the water and getting back inside and training himself every single day. And not only that, but also in his lifetime he wouldn't have achieved anything. It means that he had to tell his children that they also had to go outside and train to go outside of the water and back into the water every single day. And if you think about it, it doesn't sound completely right, but just remember that this isn't something many people have thought about. It's just something that towards the curriculum is correct, and I just think many of the things are stupid. I'm not going to tell you all the things or reasons why I think that my reasoning is better. I'm just going to tell you all the things that I know is kind of a blurry space. Also, I just want to state that the evolutionary theory, no one actually has an answer about how everything started in the beginning. It just says that it just miraculously started and then so on and so on. But still, I just want to state that the fish had to train themselves every single day because they can't evolve in their own lifetime, and they had to tell their children, and only after a lot of generations, many hundreds of generations had to pass, that everyone had to train like that for them to adapt and be able to evolve, to get lungs, to be able to breathe the air. And still, with many of the links and many of the things that have been evolving, there isn't any links in between. The easiest example is to say that we come from apes and we evolved from apes into humans, from fish into apes into humans, and there isn't any links or any type of skeletons that shows any type of evidence to show any of this. I'm just saying that a lot of these things are kind of blurry and it's kind of stupid if you think about it clearly. And like I said about the fish, it's unpractical, and that theory of how they were able to evolve is based on their own theory that said it happened. Because in the evolutionary theory it says that no animal can evolve inside their own lifetime, but they are the ones who said that we evolved from fish. So it kind of doesn't make sense how it's like this double-edged sword. And there are many statements and facts and interesting things that just doesn't come together in their own theory. And I'm not going to tell you now about all the things that I believe that happened and how I think everything came into fruition and all that things. I'm just going to explain for now how I think there is mistakes and how I think things get misinterpreted. Also, the biggest thing is numbers. Just remember that we are the ones who created numbers. We said, okay, we come from 1 up until 10, and this is how the numbers look and everything like that. We decided to make numbers for mathematical equations and so on. So I also do believe that many of the things that are calculated about how long ago it was is definitely wrong. And there is a study about this, about they had a dinosaur fossil which one arm was a few million years older than the other arm, and it's just in speculation, because if for us to use math to be able to determine how old the thing is very, very unpractical, and in a way very stupid, because there is no way for us as a single person who is barely able to live up until 100 years to be able to determine how old something is that is more than 1,000 years old, because we as people have never seen anything in our lifetime grow from the beginning up until the end for 1,000 years. For us to be able to calculate how old something is and just use a mathematical equation to see and say, okay, this thing is approximately 4 million years old, is very, very stupid and very unpractical, and it's definitely mostly wrong. And I'll get into that in another video, but this is my statements that I have. I just want to say that the people who decided to make that mathematical equation about how deep the fossil lays determines how old it is, and they could have used any numbers. They could have used half of the numbers, they could have used 1/10 of the numbers, they could have used any numbers. They decided what the numbers are going to be. So there isn't any way for us to definitely know that that is a true statement, because as I said, it's unpractical for them to be able to calculate such a thing, because they are the ones who made the equation, and they are the ones who could have changed it any way they can. And they don't actually have any type of evidence that says, for example, there is a rock or a type of structure that has been there for a million years, and it is written on the structure that this is made in this year and this will be whatever and whatever, because we only started counting the days 2,000 years ago. Then we started to actually count everything. So there isn't any way for them to know how something would look that is a certain age. They just decided the numbers, and then they calculated it towards their own calculation that didn't even work in most cases, because some type of the bones weren't the same age. Because if the fossil was laying vertically, then the top and the end would have been different numbers, because that's how the scaling works and how the mathematical equation determines how old the fossil is. And it's just very stupid. Regardless, I would like to hear if you'd like to know more. I have a lot of these answers. I have a lot of things that I would like to share. I have a lot of things that would be of interest if you already like this, and yeah, let me know. I really hope that I haven't angered anyone, and even regardless if I do, I would be able to tell you why I have these reasonings and explain everything fully to you. But regardless, I'm not here to insult anyone, I'm not here to make anyone angry. I'm just trying to tell you something that is very interesting. If everything in this statement is fake, everything of the evolutionary theory, then it means that a lot of everything that we know and that we learn in schools and everything we are based on as a population is incorrect, and it will actually cause a lot of problems and so on. So I'm just not trying to insult anyone. I'm just trying to make a difference, and I'm just trying to tell you the facts that I know for sure. But regardless, I hope you liked it, and thank you so much for watching.